Well, Hood, you mentioned like the NWO and things like that. Like, would you have an issue if literally it was just a direct ripoff? Like, if they were spray painting the title and they were just running Rough Shed and adding different members, like, because that might be better. That was 25 years ago. People might not remember that as vividly. Like, if they just said, "Hey, we're running that back," would you have an issue with that?
I would not, because it just makes them stronger. Because
Right.
it's them, the Freebirds, the Horsemen, like
Sure.
that's what we're talking about. Like a dominant faction where they're kick ass, and it's like, oh, anybody beat these guys. I just think the AEW audience as a whole, just watching on television, I don't have the feeling that the fans want this faction to get beat down.
Right.
Like no, who's booing? Watch the show. Anyone really booing Moxley? You were in Orlando. Were people really booing Moxley when he came out?
No, people are excited to see that. And Gabe, to your point about like Orange and stuff, like we've gotten to the point where you see Orange lose enough of these matches that no one believes it. So like that pop is even dying down a little because like, well, he's not going to win. Like Jay White's not that guy. Mox is going to be defending in 2 weeks though. Like Casino Battle Royal upcoming Wednesday. The following week he's defending in Cincinnati. You can almost chalk up he's going to win that one. Like
he's also going to be cheered. He's from Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, there's that part.
Yes.
He's going to be super over.
Yes. Great booking.
Right. Well, we've said, Tony sometimes misses the calendar and doesn't realize where he is, and there might be other events. So maybe he forgot.
So I'm not like, again, respect for Moxley is just about execution and the opponents. I mean, even if Darby does win in Dallas, look, they built him up for a long time, but then I'm watching Hangman Page is doing some of his best work. I'm watching Swerve, and I'm just like, oh my God, you got guys here, but they want to go in a different direction. I think Darby's the future.
Again, the win for Mox going over Danielson's kind of worn off because I feel like they've just lost so much momentum because as dominant as Mox was in that match, he hasn't been that dominant since. Like that, you needed to, if you wanted to build him a star, you needed to make this faction incredibly dominant and a team and just somebody that is, oh man, whenever he goes down, this is going to be tough. And instead, they booked this 4-way match where there's interference because there's going to be legal interference because there's no DQ.
But even that stupidity that like the refs kicked those guys out. They came back and still interfered. It's like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah. Jim Ross asked the same question on the broadcast, by the way. He also is, where'd they go, Tony? Where'd they go? They're in the back. Oh.
Think about that. If JR's questioning your logic on your broadcast, maybe think it through a little bit more.
It was it was weird. It was JR and Tony. And both were just like, they also a little confused about why that the others were helping Jon Moxley when it's supposed to be a fatal 4-way. It was, and then no help from the back. It's just bad, man. It's not what I thought it should be. It could be a lot better. I guess that's the question.
It has so much potential to be awesome, especially with the way that they all look, the way that Mox, as strong as Claudio is, as great as Pac is, as great as the potential of Wheeler Yuta. This thing had all the potential in the world that they just threw all away.
And even to the point where like them being unbeatable, like Claudio not winning the Continental Classic or even being in the semis.
Yeah.
Like
that's the thing. Like
let them get there.
No, that's if you're going to put him in there, then Wheeler has to help him, or Pac has to help him get to the finals or semifinals or whatever.
Well, they tell you no outside interference, but what does that really mean in AEW?
Right.
It's professional wrestling. Every time they say no outside interference, guess what I expect?
Right.
Yeah.
Outside interference.
No, but the owner loves the tournament king. So you got Okada, which is fine. I got no problem with Okada winning, but just the point is, like, if you're trying to build your number one faction that's around the heavyweight champion, you got to build it better than you have.
Then don't put Claudio in the Continental Classic. You have plenty of other guys that can replace Claudio.
Yeah, like they got a name written. Ricky Starks, I think is
he worked there.